In follow-up to my last video showing a Juyō Token Kinju Tanto, I wanted to show another example of a Juyō Token blade. And what we're looking at today is quite special. It is a Juyō Token katana from Etchū Tametsugu. So to explain who Tamatsugu was, I want to give a little bit of background on his lineage. There's probably no swordsmith more famous who inspires more passion and awe than Masamune. Masamune is the most famous swordsmith in the craft. Everybody knows the name of Masamune, even if you don't know intimate details of Japanese sword making in general. He worked in Kamakura, and he worked in the early 1300s, and he's the representative swordsmith of the Soshu school. He didn't found the tradition. It was founded by his teacher Shintobu Kunimitsu, who was generally considered to be a student with Owadaguchi lineage, which is a lineage of swordsmiths from Kyoto, from Yamashiro-den, who worked in Kamakura, and he fostered a generation of extremely talented swordsmiths, including Masamune, Yukimitsu, Norishige, Shintoku Kunihiro. Those were all a part of the circle of Shintogo, and Masamune being the most famous. Several of the swordsmiths from the Shintogo group created a work style that was very strongly active in nie deki, so the crystalline activity was extremely pronounced. Others were more close to Shintogo in having a quieter workmanship, a very fine and tight jihada, straight sugata hamon. However, students like Norishige and Masamune, and in some cases Yukimitsu, produced work that was much more elaborate in terms of activity. When you look at the work of Masamune, they resemble Kohoki, which is a much earlier group of swordsmiths who generally worked in a very similar style, and said that they may have been an inspiration from Masamune in terms of the flamboyant activity that you see in his work. But Masamune is, again, he's the representative swordsmith of Soshu. So what I want to do is I want to show an example today of Tamatsugu. Tamatsugu was the third generation of the lineage from Masamune. So Masamune was said to have had a student, Norishige, who really today is considered to be a peer of Masamune. They both studied together under Shintogo, but they were part of that early Soshu lineage. Tamatsugu was the son of the very famous swordsmith Go Yoshihiro. There's an expression, you never see a ghost or a go, talking about the rarity of the works of Go Yoshihiro. After Go died, and Go died very young, his son Tamatsugu went to study under Norishige and carried a very similar work style on into the next generation. So this is a blade, and I wanted to show another example of a Juyō Token. This is a long and very wide katana that's attributed to Etchū Tametsugu. And the work style is actually quite similar to Norishige. You have an extremely active jihada, so the forging pattern is full of chikei, swirling areas of oitame, so large oval shapes mixed with chikei, which are dark lines that are flowing through the blade. The blade has a classic Nanbokuchō shape to it, so it's extremely wide. You'll notice that the kasaki or point area is very large. And on the back, one of the traits of blades that relates to Soshu as well as Yamashiro is a mitsumune. What that means is that the back of the blade has three ridges, a flat ridge along the top and then two angled ridges on each of the sides. And that's something that is one of the attributes that indicate a Soshu blade, in addition to everything else we're seeing here on this blade as far as the workmanship. The blade has old futatsuji, so you'll notice that there are the two rails, two carvings on either side of the blade, and overall it's just a really supremely healthy and wonderful example of the tradition. I know this blade was actually submitted at least once back to the NBTHK with the hope that it might flip to Norishige, but there are differences. It's not 100% Norishige. It doesn't have as much the classic Matsukawa hada, which is his specific style of work. There's a lot more masame in the blade. So it is definitely a representative example of Tamatsugu, and I would expect it to say at that attribution. It is currently Juyō Token. It has not been submitted for Tokubetsu Juyō. although I will say that no Tamatsugu have passed Tokubetsu Juyo yet, but this is something that you would think of as being a Tokuju level of health and condition. And the blade is pristine. So wanted to quickly share. I will include some close-up photos of this sword, and I'll be adding more details into my website in the near future. Thank you.